Hey, it's Mark. I had a chance to go through a lot of different stock scans tonight. I went through like a huge range of them. Like I usually go through, a few of them, and I had a chance to look at the market really closely, and I noticed a lot of things that stood out. And probably one of the more interesting things was the regional bank. We had that regional bank. NYCB was down a lot in the pre-market, and it took down the rest of the regional banks overall. And it seems like it's probably like an isolated kind of thing, but it may have been just program selling and the rest of the banks, like the NYCB was was one of the more, I would say, like a lot of people had a really high opinion on that one, versus the other ones. Like I know some people in finance that they were pretty bullish on NYCB, and like back in last March when we had the that regional bank, mini panic, which brought down a lot of regional banks, and they're pretty bullish on that one and bought a lot of the preferreds, and you saw that like a lot of the big institutions were just buying these bank preferred stock, preferred shares, and it's like it was a good opportunity to buy a lot of these. And so I was pretty surprised to see the NYCB, had that problem. But I guess they were thrust into a lot of things, with the way the government reacted, because apparently it wasn't any problem with the loans. It was more like just like they had to buy some. The government had them buy some stuff, and it wasn't necessarily bad stuff overall in their position, but it's still not good to see that, and it brought the sector down. But the thing that was kind of crazy that, well, I really wasn't expecting to see this in my, because I ran my gap down scan, which is it's kind of been my go-to. This scan here has been my go-to scan for short bias setups to watch for shorts, or weakness. So this it wasn't really nice. I wasn't expecting to see all these regional banks in my scan. Like if you look at I just started going through it here, and the past like couple weeks, there's been about, I would say, 5 to 10 or 15 results in this scan every night. So it's been really low, of course. As the market goes up, there's the market's going up. This scan doesn't have any results, obviously, because it's kind of finding some really, it finds a lot of weakness in the market. Or stocks that are really weak, gapping down and going down a day. So of course you don't see that much, but there's 75 of these hit today in my scan, and I started rolling through these here, and I mean I just see bank after bank after finance, realty. Um, these aren't sorted in any way particularly. I can sort by, I think I'll sort by percent change so we can see where the worst of it was. Sometimes it catches ETFs, like it caught a lot of ETFs there, but it usually doesn't do that. But when you look through the list here, it's a lot. It's just a lot of banks and uh, financial companies. I mean, Heartland Financial, uh, Live Oak Bank Shares, Tompkin Financial, Dime Community Bank Shares, Flushing Financial, Lakeland Bancorp, Washington Trust. I mean, you get the idea. Like, I just, it's just one after the other of these banks that are down in the scan. So it's not necessarily like it's not 100% gonna predict like a top or anything, but it just shows you where the short momentum is, or the selling momentum. So it's kind of interesting to see that because just the last night I ran my scans and I found. I mean, these banks are just incredible. Like, there's just a lot of banks in this thing tonight, and I mean, you look at these charts and they do look pretty bad. I mean, well, I mean, a lot of them are breaking out, and then they've gone sideways, and it's not necessarily like I was saying that it could just be they're going to go sideways from here, and they may break out later on, but it doesn't mean that there's going to be continued outperformance, like selling and banks selling off. So, but it's just something to watch. Like, I'm just going to watch that now. So I took the KRE off. I took the regional banks off my watch list because there wasn't really much going on. It was kind of boring, and now I got to put these regional banks back on my watch list because it might have something going on. But we've seen it's not necessarily concerning for the overall market because we've seen the stock market go higher even with regional bank weakness in the past. So there'd be weeks where the market would go up and these regional banks would be down. So it's not necessarily it's definitely not a bad thing in itself for the market. But it just it's not helping the Russell 2000 though. Like the Russell 2000 looks like it's fell in that level now again, and it's not looking too great. Like I almost put on some more calls on the reverse ETFs. Like I was gonna short some more because I've got I'm short tech with the ETF with ETF calls. So like I really I nailed the top on that one. Like I noticed it here. I noticed that the Nvidia sold off there, and then it came back some more, but it even sold off again, of course, with the rest of tech week today. And you look at the Microsoft print today, the Microsoft candle, that's a pretty bad candle. It may be the start of the top, or it may not be. Because you've seen like a candle like that by itself isn't necessarily super bad, but it could be something. And so it looks like I got a really good entry on the short tech with the ETF calls. I got the SQQQ calls. I bought some of these calls like yesterday or the day before, and wasn't really doing much today, but I think it should be good tomorrow. And I went through a bunch of scans like I was saying, and I found some interesting setups here. Like I've been noticing lithium has been really weak for a while, and it's kind of gone with the rest of these EV companies and EV charging companies. So it broke down below level. It's just been in a downtrend, continues steady downtrend. And I noticed the LAC, it actually looks like it hit the gap down scan too, which is interesting. And this LAC, I found a level going way back. It's got support back into 2021. The support was like about $5, and we just broke down below that level there, and it tried to reclaim or just basically it retested, and that's a bear flag now. So we got a bear flag. So this one looks really good to go lower still too, and it looks like it hasn't, it has some more room to go down. Like the lithium ETFs has been straight down, but this one's kind of was taking its time for a while, for months. So it's still a low price stock, but I'm just saying that there's definitely a setup there on the short side. It just looks like a really good bear flag, and The NEO was another good one, and the EVGO. So NEO, because these all pretty much trade the same, right? So that bear flag was really good. And I still got puts on this. I forgot to put out the rest of my. I have more calls and puts calls and puts I forgot to put out on my Twitter because I was looking at another account. But and the Neo's got a good setup for a short, you know, or puts with that bear flag, and I put on some more EVGO puts because it did the same thing. Like it did that same kind of retest that the LAAC is doing now. And so it retested. I mean, it looks identical to the LAAC chart really, and there's bear flag. You can tell by the big day. The big push through was a high percentage move, and then like I'm like a day later or two here on this one. I'm putting more on, but I think it's gonna go down to below $2. So I put the $2 strike puts on. It's like a month or two out. I think it's like 2 months out. But yeah, it's pretty much the same. You can see the same setup as the LAC. You know, it's like these have all been trading in sympathy. And I actually looked at supernovas for the first time because they're a lot easier to see now with when the market's red like it was today. You can see the supernovas pretty easily. So I found this one. This BTOG was up a crazy amount today, like 26%. And first thing I did is look at the past. So we've got a history of spikes and then drops, spike, drop. And the stock hasn't really done anything. I mean, it's never actually had a sustained uptrend for, you know, more than a year, and is just left for dead, you know, the last couple of years. And then there's a huge spike up on some pretty unusual volume, and it just looks like a supernova. So I'm short biased this one, and it's actually it's a Bitcoin miner, like a digital miner. So it doesn't make any sense, you know, because this is the sector here. I'm looking at the whole sector, and they're all red today, and they've been red, you know. So the fact that this one's going up is kind of unusual, and it just kind of makes me think there's like some pump involved or some kind of manipulation to make it go higher. So when the volume dries out, when the volume stops, it's gonna stop too. This is just based on what's done in the past too. So that's a good short. I couldn't see any puts on my broker, but still a good one. I still got the BKKT shorts too, or the puts. Looks like it retested and failed that level there, or tried to reclaim, and that's a big level. So I think that's another bear flag there too. Yeah, another bear flag. So it's kind of another perfect bear flag setup where it fails a level and there's a flag. It's kind of the opposite of a breakout bull flag, you know. So that's another good one. And the wolf looks like a bear flag could be setting up there too, because this one's just been annihilated too with the industry. But I like the BTOG for sure, and the LAC. I should have put on the LIT puts. Like it actually tries this has options too, and I think it still probably got downside. Like Elon Musk was saying that the production wasn't matching the demand. They had there's too much lithium out there. So that still could be a good area, but I think there's going to be some more pullback in the overall market, like in tech and looks like small caps too. And but the FNMA still looks like a bull flag. It's pretty bullish. So I don't know, like it seems more likely it might just go sideways here for a while, you know, down a little bit for a week or two. But if the semis are down. The semis are finally breaking down here, so you know there could be some more breakdown, or it could stop. I think my target was like 180, 182 on this one. But yeah, I think there's definitely some room to go in that one still. You see, anytime you have these blow off tops where it's just up straight for a long period of time, days and days or weeks, then the likelihood of a pullback just increases, and you can kind of see them as they happen. Like I noticed that pullback the day it happened, or that right as it was happening. So talked about the EVs and the rig. Like I think the oil is kind of up in the air here. What it's gonna do? Like that really looks like it could be a bear flag. So like if that level fails, we could go lower on rig, and it usually trades pretty well with oil, but it may not have to. But oil looks like it just could be trying to break that uptrend. We'll see, because today was kind of a lot of stuff going on with the with the Federal Reserve and everything. So we'll see. But I think the better setups are on those shorts. And I think that was about it. Oh yeah, the PALT, the BFRG was the other. This was the other supernova that I alerted a couple days ago, back there, and it's still down too, and likely is gonna come down to like $3, in a month or two, unless it's like a slow fader. But I found this other one too. This PALT's held up really well, even today, and it looks like another bull flag, but it may fail or just bull flag and then have a pullback. But I don't see. I looked at the history of this one, and it's got a history of spikes and fails too, like back in early 2023. And back in 21, it had a huge spike. Nothing really much happened before that. I mean, the thing was like really thin, like not much volume. So I don't know why this one's up so much, like that. So that makes me a short bias on it. And they're basically just a video software company. They just have, it seems to be in the same kind of company as any other social media or application where you can just video chat, like Telegram or something, or any just basically any video chat app. So I don't see what their competitive advantage is really. Like I don't know. I don't understand why the stock's up. I could be missing something maybe, but I think this one could be a good short too once it starts to break down. I mean, hopefully it goes to like $8 or something, and then it could be a better short. Well, there's a lot of resistance up here at in the 450s and the 440s, so it actually kind of it hasn't really taken a shot at that yet, but it may catch resistance there. It may just keep going, but that's like a short watch too. And that's about it for the major stuff. Like bonds are up again. That seems to be the risk. That's like the risk off trade now. It looks like, so if the market's down pretty convincingly here, and bonds have been up. So even though I was looking at like the municipal bonds seem to be up. Like I was looking at a municipal bond ETF was up a lot today. So, and somehow like the Rewalk robotics actually still holding that trend support. Like I'm not so I'm not so confident on it now after the sell-off in stocks today, but still could be a setup. I never took the setup, but I was kind of expecting like a bigger percentage move, and I assume I took off my the uraniums were selling off today too, so I figured it seemed like a huge risk off day, so I really didn't think the uranium had a chance to keep going. So I could be wrong, and I might have been a little too quick to take that off to cut that, but it just didn't seem like a good reaction in stocks today to the Fed statements. But yeah, like I was saying, I noticed on the regional bank thing that the big cap banks were up a lot yesterday. Like the banks were up huge yesterday, and like Citigroup was up on the huge, like on volume and a breakout. I put that on my Twitter account. I mean, they pretty much bottomed out. Like they finally made a move from this rut they've been in for like over a year. Like at least Citigroup did, and the Wells Fargo was pretty good if I remember correctly too. Yeah, the Wells is already breaking out. It's got a technical bottom too, and I was trying to think of the other one that was up too. I put that on my Twitter, but like a lot of the banks, yeah, JP Morgan was up too. So not that one. So yeah, JP Morgan finally seemed to convincingly break out too. So that's kind of strange. It did that. Those big banks broke out the day before that regional bank incident with NYCB and the sell-off. So it's kind of interesting timing because like I was thinking in theory, if money leaves regional banks, it goes into these big banks. But to my understanding, most of the banks have had lost a lot of deposits over the last couple of years, last year, since the Fed started raising, really. So we'll see. And I'm not gonna pretend to know what the Fed's gonna do because I caught some of the statements that Powell made today, and there's no telling what's gonna happen in the next month or two. So with the overall economy, so it's kind of not worth trying to predict here. I'm just gonna follow the stuff that works, that it's got momentum, whether it's long or short. So sometimes you can get a read on that, like when the data first started coming out with the disinflation, but it's kind of like it seems like anything could happen now with what the Fed does. But it's not really surprising. They've done a pretty good job of taming inflation and maintaining employment. So I mean, to say the least. I'm just looking at these bank stocks that are down today. It's just crazy. Because they're off of the highs, so that's like a big spike day off of the highs is not what you want to see, which my scans were all showing. So there could be something going on there, and we'll see though. Like like I was saying, it's too early to tell really. But it's not looking too good for a lot of these bank stocks. So yeah, we'll call it a wrap there, and I think I covered pretty much everything I wanted to. So I'll catch you in the next one.